situations in recent years. Watching Phil Simms, you sometimes wonder how he survived. 1963 had been their last postseason appearance. The once proud Giant tradition wore the face of defeat. This is a team that introduced touchdown potential to the onside kick. 6-10 2 years ago, 4-12 last year. But then the Giants discovered the same magic that transformed San Francisco. They drafted Lawrence Taylor, the other rookie defensive standout of this season. And suddenly the city of New York is talking Super Bowl. Today, an NFC divisional playoff between pro football's two born-again franchises, New York and San Francisco.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the New York Giants versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco, the home of the 49ers. 49er fever, 49er mania has captured not only the stadium, but the city of San Francisco. Happy to be able to say good afternoon to you. I'm Pat Summerall. Blessedly, we haven't had any rain the last 2 days. The light mist is starting to fall right now. But so far, the field is indeed in good shape as the 49ers and the Giants, two teams trying to go from worst to first. John Madden and I visited long hours yesterday with Ray Perkins and Bill Walsh, the two head coaches, and they gave us, I think, John, a pretty good idea of what this football game is going to turn out to be.
They sure did. And first of all, Pat, I think that all the talk about the field is overrated because in the history of the National Football League, a field has neither won nor lost a football game. Now, Bill Walsh says that of the first 22 plays today, they will probably pass 17 times. I think it'll be a passing game for the 49ers all day. Now, Ray Perkins of the Giants says, we're going to run on it. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if we would see Rob Carpenter run the ball 40 times today. Now, that's a bunch. So it'll be the classic matchup, the run against the pass.
There's the man who's talking about running. You were just looking at Ray Perkins. Joe Danelo will kick off, and we'll have an early chance to see if Bill Walsh sticks by what he said, and that is to throw the football, not necessarily long, but for possession, and Danelo will get this playoff game underway. Bill Ring and Amos Lawrence back deep. It'll be Ring, fumble, still on the ground. Both of them jump on it. 49er ball at their own 15. Light rain starting to fall. The 49er offense, the offensive backs and the receivers. Joe Montana coming off a great year. Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper, the runners. Solomon and Dwight Clark, the wide receivers. Charle Young and Dan Audick. And John Ayers, Quillins, Cross, and Farnhawk up front. We'll check that Giant 3-4 defense in just a minute. The starters are Johnny Davis and Ricky Patton. Patton in motion. Montana in the first one. Fires complete. That's the way they said they were going to start, and that's the way they did. As Dwight Clark, the NFC's leading receiver, comes down with it. The New York defense. George Martin, Bill Neal, and Gary Jeter, the front three. The linebackers, none better. Hunt, Kelly, Carson, and Taylor. Mark Haynes, Terry Jackson, Bill Courier, and at free safety, Larry Flowers, number 37, starting in place of the injured Beasley Reese. First down, 49ers. That's Ricky Patton hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks one tackle and gets good yardage. Broke away from Harry Carson, hit down by Gary Jeter.
Well, Pat, Ray Perkins got one of the things he said he wanted yesterday. He said he would like to start on defense, said because you can set the tempo with your defense easier than offense.
Perkins looking on as his team has given up one first down already and a substantial gain by Ricky Patton. As Earl Cooper now joins Patton in the backfield. Johnny Davis out. Fake to Cooper. Montana looking deep. That's Freddie Solomon incomplete, and no flags. Solomon says somebody bothered me. Courier is right back there in good shape with him.
I'll tell you, it's a great job by Courier. It's a double zone. Courier is a deep man with the outside on the left. Now watch him get in there and just get that right hand up there.
As much as anything else, I think he blocked out his vision with his hand.
I think he did. He didn't really touch the ball. He just got it in front of Freddie Solomon's eyes. You're right.
So it'll be 3rd and 5 from the 49er 36. First possession for San Francisco. Giants haven't had it yet. The winner to play Dallas. Lawrence Taylor on a blitz. Wide open is Ricky Patton down the sideline. Only one blocker, and Patton will go all the way. Penalty marker down. We'll have a clip up about midfield by Freddie Solomon. They'll call this one back.
That's right. It was right on the 35-yard line. And Freddie Solomon made a clip there that allowed Ricky Patton to break loose.
You saw Ricky Patton perhaps pointing out the man he wanted Solomon to block. Maybe he'd have been better off to leave him alone.
Ricky Patton saying, all that work for nothing. We bring it back.
It would have been a 64-yard touchdown. We'll hear right now from Ben Dwight, the referee, and I'll give you the rest of his crew in just a minute.
Ben has a good point.
Personal foul, flipping number 88 on the offense. That's a first down.
It is still indeed a first down. Solomon clipped Mark Haynes right there.
There he is. He got him right from the back. That wasn't even close. That was a clip all the way, wasn't it?
No doubt about it. Here's the blitz by Taylor.
Watch Lawrence Taylor. I don't think there's anyone better at blitzing. And he's always getting blocked by linemen now. Early in the season, they blocked him with backs, but now they're doing it with linemen.
Up close to midfield is Earl Cooper on that first down carry. He got about a yard before Byron Hunt was the first Giant to hit him. Scott Brunner will start when the Giants do get the ball. Looks like he's waiting for the bell to ring to go to class.
Like he's on a park bench. A lot of poise, that kid.
He really has. And his record indicates that the team has a lot of confidence in him. His figures don't indicate that as far as passing percentage, but everything else does. Here's the fake reverse, and Solomon goes down in the grasp of Byron Hunt. We asked about the help. I beg your pardon, it was Montana who faked to Solomon, and then down he went, a 9-yard loss.
That's the thing with all those fakes. You know, they fake the reverse. If you get any penetration at all, then the quarterback doesn't have time to get the ball off.
Too busy faking. 3rd and 19 back at the 41. Brad Van Pelt, I started to say a minute ago, may be healthy enough to play, and he might play some. But Byron Hunt still plays, and he's done awfully well. Jumping off sides is Freddie Solomon. Montana just retreats and puts it down the ground.
That was one thing that is darn near inexcusable for a wide receiver to jump off sides.
The umpire is Dave Hamilton. We told you about Ben Dwight.
False start on number 88 on the offense. He made contact.
Ray Doday, the head linesman, the line judge Jack Fetty, back judge Banks Williams, side judge Ed Ward, field judge Jack Vaughn, and the alternate
88 offense
is Jack Johnson. At all these playoff games, of course, they do have an alternate official.
And they also have an officiating crew that's working together for the first time. This is an all-star crew.
3rd and 24. 49ers going in the wrong direction. Mike Wilson is in the game as the 49ers go with 3 wide receivers. Montana retreats. Fires, passes, incomplete, bounces off the shoulder of Ricky Patton. And the 49ers with their barefoot kicker, Jim Miller, will have to give it up. They had a barefoot place kicker last week in Philadelphia. Miller is a barefoot punter.
He got started that way because he lived on a farm and he didn't have any kicking shoes, so he kicked every kind of ball he could find barefooted, didn't he?
Didn't have anybody to play with. Just him and the ball and no shoes. Off the side of that barefoot, Bill Courier lets it bounce, and it takes a 49er bounce. Penalty marker down again.
That was one of those penalties, Pat, that kept flying from way back in the backfield, and that's usually something on the tight end. It's usually the defense holding on the tight end initially.
A 38-yard punt by Miller. 38 seems to be the number for this weekend, doesn't it? It's against the Giants.
That's right. When that flag comes from the deep in the secondary and comes flying that 20 yards, it usually is defensive holding. Move around the tight end, and that'll give the 49ers an automatic first down.
Holding
The yardage is
before
not
he
so
kicked the
important.
football. That's a first down.
But that first down is very important. 49ers still keep the football at their own 41. 41-38 San Diego over Miami. 38-0 Dallas over Tampa Bay, and a 38-yard punt, the first one by Miller. Montana, the quarterback. What a great year he had. It's Patton. Looks to Mike Wilson and got him on a quick slant in Giant territory.
You know, early in this game, Pat, we can see what the 49ers are trying to do offensively. They're running play fakes, holding the linebackers, and then working the receivers behind the linebackers and in front of the secondary, as we just saw Mike Wilson there.
Montana is 3 out of 5. There's the book on Wilson. Clark got wide to the left. Wilson's out of the game now. Again, taking the Patton. It's Clark. Clark gets away from Terry Jackson. Almost broke clear. Jackson finally hung on. It's another 49er first down.
Bill Walsh was telling us last night that he expects this man, Dwight Clark, to have a big day. He said because he can handle this type of field. He says he has good balance, and he doesn't slip when he cuts, and you can see it there.
That rain that appeared just briefly as the game got underway seems to have stopped now. It was a very fine mist. And this field, although it's in pretty good shape right now, can't stand too much moisture. Ricky Patton. Look wide to the left. Earl Cooper is the lone setback. Montana will throw again. The Giants split. Montana has Clark. Clark inside the 15 to about the 11. Larry Flowers made the stop.
That's the favorite pass pattern of the 49ers. They have one back outside of Clark, one back inside of Clark, and he hooks right between them.
He does indeed have that great feel as to where to pull up against zone coverage. He's a lot better than they thought he would be in the beginning.
You know how he was drafted. Bill Walsh went to work out Steve Fuller, the quarterback, and Clark was catching for him.
Johnny Davis and Ricky Patton will carry. Patton down to about the 9, hit down by Byron Hunt.
The one thing about the 49ers offensively, they never give you the same look. They always have something. They have one back in the backfield, two, motion, fake reverses. Just about everything you can imagine comes out of this group here in the red jerseys.
5.5 minutes are gone in the first quarter, and the Giants still haven't had the football.
And two big plays, of course. One is the touchdown and was called back to Clint. The other one was a penalty on the punt where the Giants would have had the ball.
2nd and 8 from the 9. Montana, remember he scored the first time around. He throws this one out of the end zone. Clark, the nearest receiver, but a penalty marker is down.
I saw that one. That's that umpire right behind the defense. When he throws that, that's holding on the offense.
And you're right, John. Ben Drive will take it back in the other direction. Joe Montana, a quiet leader. Brian Kelly, the Giant defensive leader, being insulted by Ben Drive.
Holding offense number 56.
I think we can see that, Pat. It's right here in the middle. We'll see Fred Quill in the center, 56, working against Bill Neal. You see his right arm. He had the right arm outside his shoulder. The left arm he pulled him down with. That was a double pull down.
You said yesterday, John, he was going to have trouble with Neal. Montana rolled right. Solomon out of bounds. Montana's hot. pushed him out of bounds. Freddie Solomon, who can also throw the option pass if need be on some of those reverses they're taking.
And he can also get deep. And, you know, this year when I talked to Freddie, he was so proud of his blocking. And then the first block that he throws, he gets a clip. But he said, if I've improved anything, he said, I've become a complete receiver. He said, because now I block. He said, watch me.
3rd and 7 from the 8. Montana has hit 4 in a row. Linville Elliott will now operate on the right-hand flank. Davis is the lone step back. Montana fires in the end zone. Touchdown! Charle Young, the tight end.
Charle Young caught that one, but the big reason is Joe Montana's ability to move around, and he was able to buy a little time to find Charle Young. You see him there? He steps to the left, steps right, and then he steps up as he throws that ball. And then he could find Charle Young in the back of the end zone.
Ray Worshing hits the extra point. And the 49ers move in front with 9:03 left in the first quarter. Watch.
Here, Charle Young is going to the back of the end zone. He's running a pattern. He just stands there. He's waiting. Montana's working around. He finds him in the back of the end zone.
7-0 49ers. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. That's the story of the 49ers drive. 13 plays.
That was despite 30 yards and penalties that the 49ers had on that drive.
Phil Simms underneath that jacket talking with Ray Perkins. Here's Ray Worshing. All set to kick off, and Leon Bright back deep for the Giants. It won't be Bright. Now it is Bright. Bright gets outside the 30 to about the 33. A penalty marker goes down. Amos Lawrence made the tackle on Leon Bright. A lot of penalty markers already. 30 yards in that drive. A crucial one against the Giants that enabled the 49ers to keep possession of the football, and this one is against the Giants.
Perkins looked like he was standing there in disbelief, didn't he?
Sure did.
I know he didn't want this type of start. You know, he felt that if they could start on defense, set the tempo, get the ball, maybe get a little field position, but he didn't want to start 7-0.
Illegal block above the waist in the back, number 56 on a run back. That's a first down.
56, of course, is Lawrence Taylor. That has to be the most popular call of this year. That illegal block in the back.
That's a big. That one will win the award. #1 call of 1981 season.
Mulledy, the tight end, is put wide to the right. The two wide receivers speeding on the other side. Here's Carpenter. Carpenter rambles over the right side outside the 25 to about the 26. Stuckey made the stop. Here's the Giant offense. Brunner, Carpenter, Perry, Earnest Gray, and Johnny Perkins. The two big backs. Mulledy starting in place of Gary Shirk at tight end. Westenard, Flack, Turner, and King. Gary Shirk had back spasms in the locker room before the game. Didn't take part in warm-ups, and we haven't seen him since. Johnny Perkins in motion. On second down again. Carpenter rams outside. About a foot or so short of a first down, it appears. Not short of a first down. It is a first down. San Francisco also plays a three-man front. There they are. Stuckey, Reese, and Dwayne Board. The linebackers Harper, Reynolds, Cookie, and Keena Turner. And a dandy secondary. The fabulous four. Lott, Wright, Williamson, and Dwight Hicks. Three of them rookies. Brunner again gets the Carpenter. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked back by Jack Reynolds. The hacksaw over in the 49er bench, trying to stay dry and trying to stay warm. The Niners all wrapped up. Carpenter got perhaps a foot. That's what he did all year. Only one back in this game, as a matter of fact, who averaged over 4 yards a carry. That's Bill Ring. Young and Mulledy now are in the Giant lineup. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and 1 setback on 2nd and 9. Young in motion. Brunner will throw. Throws to Young. He has it. Taken down by Carlton Williamson immediately. About a 6-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd down.
This is one of the situations that the Giants would like to stay out of, because there's one defensive lineman that hasn't been mentioned yet, and that's Fred Dean.
He is number 74, and he just entered the fray. And look out for him.
And he doesn't start, but he's in the Pro Bowl, and they call this Dean fence. Look at that chest on him. He has a sternum injury, and that's a little added protector.
They put a tight end across from Dean to neutralize him a little bit, and they keep him in double team. It'll be a 1st down as Brunner hits Carpenter. The Giants pick up their second first. I'm sorry. Bobby Leopold made the stop.
Now, that was an interesting thing. As you said, they put a tight end on Fred Dean's side, and Ray Perkins said he wanted to do that. You know, Ray Perkins knows Fred Dean. He coached with him at San Diego when he was with the Chargers. He said, we're going to put a tight end on his side most of the time, but he didn't say he was going to double team him.
We thought he was just going to put him there to make him think about it, but he kept him in with a double team that time. Mulledy and Weston both blocked Dean. Perkins in motion this time. 1st down Giants. Carpenter to the outside. Rob got a couple. Got into 49er territory before Jim Stuckey again wraps him up.
You know, last week against the Eagles, the Giants had 24 first down situations, and they ran the ball on 22 of them. This guy did 33 times for 161 yards. What a day.
Bobby Leopold, number 52, comes in the game along with Fred Dean again. There had to be certainly 2 of the outstanding trades made this year by these 2 teams. One for the 49ers to get Dean, and for the Giants to get Carpenter. 2nd down and 8. Brunner looking, throw it, gets it to Carpenter. Carpenter hit by Reynolds, fumble. 49er football.
There's another big addition to that team who just made a big play there, Jack Reynolds. Rob Carpenter's upset. He didn't think that he fumbled that ball. He's telling Jack Benny, that wasn't a fumble, I was down. Fred Dean now. He's man-to-man there on Jeff Weston. He gets by him, but Brunner does a nice job of stepping up, buys a little time, gets it to Carpenter, and that ball left as soon as Jack Reynolds hit him.
Reynolds hit it with his helmet and knocked it loose. That was a fumble. 49ers still lead 7-0 their football.
Look out for Here comes Big.
Here's that last fumble.
We'll see it right here. Carpenter catches the ball. He has possession. Now, right there, Reynolds hits him. See the ball pop out before he's down? That was a legitimate fumble.
And that was Bobby Leopold who made the recovery. Rob Carpenter over having some equipment checked. Nothing physically wrong with him. 1st down, 49ers at their own 46. 2 tight ends. Another offensive lineman. This is Earl Cooper. He might have gotten a foot. Mark Haynes up with a good force. Penalty marker down again. Giant is also down.
They're both down. It looked like the man that made the block is underneath the man that he blocked.
That's Haynes, who's down as far as the Giants are concerned. You see the clip indication against San Francisco. And Solomon is the other. I don't think he's hurt. I just think he doesn't want to move while Haynes is there. They don't know what's wrong with him.
That's usually what they do. When a doctor runs on the field and they have that type of situation, he'll tell them, both of you stay there. Let's see what Freddie Solomon does. He's the outside receiver in the right. Comes off the ball. He comes up. Haynes gets by him. Haynes is up there in good support. See, now Solomon blocked him again from behind. That was a real clip. That's the second time that Freddie Solomon has clipped Mark Haynes.
They're still working on that double stack over there, and they're trying to put some of the divots back. Whipping on Solomon. It is the call indeed. Haynes took all the power of Earl Cooper almost right directly in the face mask at least, and he's still down. 7-0 San Francisco.
Introducing another engineering wonder, the new 1982 Honda.
That's Mark Haynes, who is back of Terry Jackson now, sitting up. And he's set up under his own power. Here's what happened to him. That's Freddie Solomon.
Watch the whole thing again. It's going to be a run out here to Mark Haynes' side. He's number 36. He'll start up. He gets by Freddie Solomon. Now, Solomon should let him go, but he stays with it. And see what happened to him, Pat. He really got high-low. He got hit low from behind by Solomon and high from the runner Cooper.
The old schoolyard trick. And fortunately, Haynes seems to be okay now. He really took a shot both in the back and in the head.
This was probably the shot in the head from Cooper more than the one from behind by Solomon.
His place has been taken by Mike Dennis. Another guy who hit you. First down, 49ers, Montana to go right to work in that direction. Dwight Clark. And Dennis makes the stop on Clark.
Tell you, it didn't take Joe Montana long to figure out who Mark Haynes' replacement was. Watch this. He puts Dwight Clark over there on the right side, has him running out. You see now Mike Dennis is playing too far off. There he comes into the picture after Clark had made the reception.
Johnny Davis goes in and Earl Cooper comes out. Dennis is going to play that far off. They're going to have to make a defensive adjustment. 2nd and 9 for the penalty. Here's a handoff to Ricky Patton, hit by Bill Neal as he gets just to midfield. There's John DeSiegel. That's Haynes underneath the hood. Joe Montana.
What a start he's had. He's hit 8 out of 10 passes. He already has 127 yards, and he's hit his last 6 in a row.
Time remaining in the first quarter, 4:02. 49ers pretty much dominated this first quarter at least. Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper behind Montana. Montana going deep. And intended for Cooper, swinging out of the backfield. Back there with him was Brian Kelly, and coming over, Mike Dennis as well.
That's the other pattern that the 49ers love against double coverage. When they double to the outside, the corners rotate, the safeties rotate outside. That leaves the middle open, and Joe Montana always tries to get deep on that coverage. He's just saying over there, I had Earl Cooper. But Brian Kelly did a nice job of covering.
Here's Jim Miller. And Leon Bright back deep for the Giants. Also back deep, Brad Van Pelt on one side and Bill Courier on the other. Works off the side of the foot of Miller. Leon Bright comes up quickly. Gets outside the 25 to about the 27 where the Giants will take over. With 3:35 left to play. And the first quarter at Candlestick, Dan Bunz is the man who made the stop on Leon Bright.
The engineers of Mercedes-Benz have created an advanced diesel power system. Its heart, this compact turbocharger. And this system has just transformed 2 more diesels into high-performance turbo diesels. Mercedes-Benz unleashes the 300D sedan and the 300 CD coupe. Now with 45% more power. The 300D sedan and the 300 CD coupe. The 2 newest turbo diesels from Mercedes-Benz.
You'll probably think I'm old-fashioned, but I don't believe in taking a lot of medications. I'm very careful about the medicines I keep at home. That's why we use Tylenol. You know when I was first given Tylenol? In the hospital after my son was born. And it really worked. And Tylenol is the pain reliever hospitals use most. That means I can really trust Tylenol.
For relief you can trust, Trust Tylenol. Hospitals do. Tylenol in regular and extra strength.
Monday on House Calls, Peckler picks a new assistant, but will Charlie be the winner when his old flame turns out to be the pick of the litter?
Maybe this is his idea of germ warfare.
Monday.
Giants have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 28. 49ers leading 7-0. 3.5 minutes left first quarter. Leon Perry and Rob Carpenter, the two runners. Perry gets his first carry of the day, and it turns out not to be too healthy. Wayne Ford. 49er takes him down.
See, one thing, that 49er defense is really playing tough against the run on first down.
Those are the rankings in the NFL. Philadelphia number 1. 49ers second. The Giants third. The turnover ratio, you can see the playoff teams involved in that. The defense also helped considerably. Red Dean cut down this time. Brunner tries to set up a screen. Earnest Gray sets sail. Being chased by Willie Harper, but they're not going to catch him. Ernest Gray with a touchdown from Brunner.
I'll tell you what a throw that was. Dave Jennings there. He's a top cheerleader. Boy, did Scott Brunner thread the needle on that pass.
I don't think he was the intended receiver by any means. They were trying to set up a screen.
Watch him. He comes to the outside. We'll see it's a zone defense. He just hits in there and keeps sliding. But that ball was thrown between 3 49er defenders. And when Ernest Gray gets a step on you, you're not going to catch him.
72 yards. Scott Brunner to Ernest Gray. Danelo will kick and Brunner will hold to try to tie it up. As the first quarter winds down, Danelo does. It's 7-7. Boy, how things can turn around. 72-yard touchdown pass from Scott Brunner to Ernest Gray.
Let's see if we can watch that one again, Pat, from the start here. You know, Scott Brunner doesn't have great statistics, but he sure comes up with big plays. Okay, now we're going to see right here. This is Ernest Gray here. And we're going to start. He's going to come down. He'll get behind. He'll get a bump here. He'll get beyond. Just work into this area here against the zone defense. Get between it. Catch the ball here. Break. And get all the way in for a touchdown.
Very well done.
I love. You see that bump in there? You see he gets it. Then he slides in. He slides between the two layers. Catches it right there. Missed tackle. And it's all over.
And the score is 7-7. That was Dwight Hicks who missed that tackle on Gray, and Gray was off to the races. Willie Harper was the 49er with the best chance at Gray, but I think that's a bit of a mismatch. Danelo will kick off that drive, if you can call it one. 2 plays, 72 yards, and the game is all even. Danelo to kick off. Bill Ring and Amos Lawrence back deep for the 49ers. It's famous Amos Lawrence. Penalty markers down. Lawrence has got some room. Amos Lawrence hit by Danelo and by Mark Haynes, who made the saving tackle. A 47-yard kickoff return by Amos Lawrence. From where the penalty flag is, it looks like it would be the Giants offside, and I'm sure the 49ers will turn that down.
Kicking team was offside.
You were right, and you're right again. They'll turn it down. You know, Amos Lawrence was also acquired from the San Diego Chargers. The Chargers have been very good to the 49ers. They got Fred Dean. They got Amos Lawrence.
Offside. Decline the penalty. It's a first down.
I'm sorry, Ben. Ben talks twice. I mean, he tells you twice what those plays are. But the third player is the starting left tackle, Dan Audie.
The 49ers have it in good shape at the Giants 48-yard line. Cooper and Patton, the 2 runners, or the 2 seconds. Solomon has the pass completion. Mark Haynes is back in the game. He was a little bit off Solomon as well.
That's one thing. I think the Giants are going to have to start getting up a little tighter or a bump on these outside receivers, because we can see Solomon there. He runs unmolested the whole way, catches the out, and they're really giving big cushions to these outside receivers.
Perhaps you saw at the end of that replay that number 10 is in the game now. That is Brad Van Pelt. And Haynes is back as well. Tight ends for the 49ers. Ricky Patton, the ball carrier. No place for Ricky to go out there anyway. He drops the football. Drops on it. And George Martin drops on top of him.
There's Brad Van Pelt. Ray Perkins was telling us last night that he was okay. He would start Byron Hunt and maybe play Brad Van Pelt. Because that's something that Ricky Patton really shouldn't do. Once you start on a sweep to the right, you have to find something in there and get it upfield. You can't turn and reverse your field, especially on this type of field. That's what caused it right there. Yeah. Look at that step. Big play.
And 17 in Montana throws over the middle, intended for his tight end, Charle Young. He is tripped up by Larry Flowers, but Montana was under heavy pressure from the Giant defense. Montana's 9 out of 13, 138 yards, and a touchdown pass to Charle Young. Score tied 7-7 in this NFC playoff game.
Yeah, we just looked at Charle Young there, and Bill Walsh was saying that he has really come along as a blocker this year. He said he may be the best blocking tight end in the NFL.
A couple of teams have given up on him at one time. Montana on third down. That's Mike Wilson, the third wide receiver in the pocket. Now throws deep. He's got a man wide open, Clark. And Clark is down and out of bounds at the 6-yard line by Larry Flowers. Or can he get open?
I'll tell you, he can get open, and the other thing is Montana can move around, and he can buy time. Again, now we'll see this here. This is a double zone. You see, Mark Haynes comes up. He bumps Clark. Now he lets him go to the safety. See, now Clark was going to run it out. He saw Montana move. He went out and up, and he caught the ball out there before the safety, Larry Flowers, got over there.
It'll be first and goal, 49ers. Mike Clark is big for a wide receiver, 6'4", 210. Here's Montana. And Pelt on a blitz intended for Cooper, incomplete. Bill Courier, the defender for the Giants.
You know, in that last play, we saw the isolate, the play before the isolated Dwight Clark. But again, it was this guy here, number 16, Montana. By scrambling, he could buy that time that allowed Clark to run his out and then react by going up.
It'll be second and goal at the 6. 46 seconds left, first quarter, 2 tight ends. Houston rings. This is Bill Ring. Ring rings down to about the 2 before George Martin puts him down.
Bill rings down to the 2. I'll tell you, they like this guy. He's a first-year man. He's only 5'10". He weighs 215 pounds. Played at Brigham Young. Was with the Pittsburgh Steelers at one time, and he roomed with Rocky Blyer, who's his idol, and his agent.
That's a good relationship.
Idol and an agent.
Third down and goal from about the 3. This is Ring again. Van Pelt wraps him up at about the 3. As the rain starts to come down a little bit harder now.
There's a guy who's ready to play, Brad Van Pelt. He hasn't played in a month. He was originally injured in this game.
First playoff game for that 9-year veteran. Long time coming. Montana will hold at the 11-yard line. This will be a 21-yard field goal effort by Ray Worshing. Montana handles the high snap, and Worshing gets it through. 49ers will take the lead. That was the first play of the second quarter. Worshing makes it 49ers 10, Giants 7.
Worshing kicker for Montana did a great job of getting that high snap and getting it down.
Perkins looks a little disgusted at the moment.
He always looks that way. Watch his snap here. Watch the job that Montana does. The ball is high. He has to not only bring it down, but bring it back into him, and Wersching makes a perfect kick. Okay, now let's watch this big play that Clark. Here's Clark out here. Now, the Giants are going to be in a double zone. Haynes will come up, react here, get a bump here. Flowers is supposed to be the outside man here, but he is influenced by a back coming out of the backfield that keeps him in here. Clark gets by the bump, starts out, sees Montana scramble, and then runs up. Let's watch it. He gets by that first bump. You see the inside back coming. That holds Flowers and leaves the outside man, Clark, wide open.
And wide open indeed he was. And that set up the field goal by Wersching of 21 yards. Montana has 177 yards. That's Leon Bright who will bring it out of there. And bangs out to about the 22-yard line before he's hit down hard by the 49ers. Amos Lawrence. Penalty marker down again. Leon Bright, who Ray Perkins said is probably the toughest man in the NFL. And indeed, we've seen him take some vicious hits this year.
The Giants are saying that call's against the 49ers, Pat. Usually on those kick returns, it's usually the return team.
It is against the 49ers, and they'll add some more yardage onto Bright's returns from that spot.
That'll be 15 more. Excuse me, that's 15 more. That's the signal for unnecessary roughness.
49ers have already been penalized 60 yards. The Giants 20.
On a kicking team, on a return. That's a first down.
Did he say number 14? That's the kicker, Ray Wersching.
That's what I thought he said. Kickers aren't supposed to do that.
You don't find many kickers get unnecessary roughness calls.
I wonder if he kicked somebody. First and 10 at the 37. Brunner drops on first down. Throws outside Carpenter with some blockers in front. Harper to hit hard by Ronnie Lott, and he broke Lott's tackle and got more yardage. Jim Stuckey finally got him down. Ronnie Lott, who has the reputation of perhaps the surest tackler on the 49er team.
Well, that's one thing about this young secondary of the 49ers. They're all big guys and good tacklers. You know, that's what Bill Walsh was saying. The thing that he likes about them is that they're all physical. So they're natural hitters.
The first time the Giants have thrown on first down today. They got 5, and it gets 2nd and 5 as Johnny Perkins goes in motion. Gray split wide to the left. They had Carpenter, and he left it on the ground, and Brunner got on top of it. The draft choices the 49ers made this last spring, I don't know if there's ever been a better one. Ronnie Lott, who of course starts, Eric Wright, Williamson, and Lynn Thomas. And that's what they've done. That sort of solidified their pass defense. 3 wide receivers for the Giants. Third down, top 6. Perkins in motion. Brunner from the shotgun. Brunner going deep for Perkins. Picked off by Ronnie Lott. Lott in Giant territory. Penalty markers down. Eric Wright clipped somebody back at about the 45-yard line. Clipped Earnest Gray, who was the intended receiver.
But, you know, watching the 49ers over this year, they get more of those type interceptions where a receiver goes to catch the ball and he gets hit and the ball bounces up than any team that I've seen. Let's watch this. We see Perkins comes in motion. He gets bumped there by Lott. Lott runs underneath him. Now you see right there, Hicks is up there, hits right at the time the ball gets there, and Ronnie Lott comes up with it.
The penalty against Eric Wright. Lott brought it back 25 yards before the penalty.
The guy that really made it possible was Dwight Hicks.
Flipping number 21 on the return. First down.
Let's just watch the clip again. Here it is after. Now watch 21. Right there clipped Earnest Gray.
No doubt about it. It'll be a first down, 49ers at their own 32-yard line. They lead 10-7. I have not seen a headpiece fight like that before. Have you?
That's an old coach who couldn't adjust to the new rules.
First and 10, 49ers. Montana fakes on first down. Is going to throw. Going to Solomon deep. Back there with him is Haynes, and he knocks it away. Very nearly an interception. Haynes is saying that perhaps Solomon interfered with him instead.
This is one of the times that the Giants use a man-to-man. Now watch it. Haynes starts out here. He's on Freddie Solomon. Solomon starts to the outside. Haynes just runs. He looks. He locates the ball. Goes up with both hands. Now what he's saying is Solomon got his hand in there and didn't let him catch the ball.
He may have had somewhat of a point. Second and 10, 49ers. Their own 32. They lead 10-7. 13:04 left in the first half as Ricky Patton goes in motion left. Earl Cooper, the ball carrier. Cooper ran outside the 40, very close to first down yardage before Larry Flowers can make the tackle.
That's something, you know, the 49ers a year ago, you guys booing or cheering, but the 49ers a year ago expected big things of Earl Cooper, and he's really never matured as a runner that they expected.
He's a big guy, a good pass receiver with good speed. Goes about 230. The first down the 49ers have made all day rushing. They said they were going to throw it, and they have. They've thrown it successfully. Beasley Reese did not start, has not played. Flowers in his place. Two tight ends, Eason Ranson on the right, Charle Young on the left, and Montana is not happy with that offensive set, and he takes the timeout. We have 12 minutes, 12 seconds left in the first half of play, with the 49ers leading in this playoff game 10-7. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. 49ers 10, the Giants 7. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 12 minutes, 12 seconds left first half. Joe Montana, after taking that timeout, has his 49ers set now. Two tight end formation. Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper behind him. And off fake to Patton. Solomon going deep, and he's got his man burned. Touchdown, Freddie Solomon. He went right by Terry Jackson. Great fake by Montana. Set that whole thing up. 58 yards and a touchdown 49ers.
These people have waited a long time for this one. Freddie Solomon said, I didn't start off well. I've had two 15-yard penalties, but I can get deep on Terry Jackson. He's going to keep that ball, too, Pat. He's not going to let anyone have that football. That's a touchdown in a playoff.
Boy, that was a good fake and a good throw by Montana. Ray Wershing will try for the extra point. And hits it. And the 49ers now lead by 10, 17-7. They can hurt you.
And they can hurt you fast when they have that speed like that Freddie Solomon going down that left sideline. Now let's watch the fake here first. See, he fakes to Patton, holds the linebackers. He held Harry Carson in there, and then it was just man-to-man with Freddie Solomon on Terry Jackson. Let's watch Freddie here. Again, it's man-to-man. We'll see him. He just sprints. He doesn't make any moves at all. He just runs right by Terry Jackson.
Talk about prophecy. We'll get back to that in a minute.
Here it is right here. They start, and there'll be a play fake in here. Montana fakes, comes on back, throws from here. Solomon, no move at all, just right by. Jackson starts back, settles a little in here, and Solomon gets beyond him. See the play fake? No move, just a sprint.
Maybe you heard Roger Staubach say before the game that he had talked with Terry Jackson. And Terry had said he couldn't wait to get in the contest contest next week against Dallas Drew Pearson. We saw Terry last night, and I said, "Do you have any message for Freddie Solomon?" He said, no word for Freddie. He'll run right by me. And he did. Leon Bright from the 2. Right to the outside, still on his feet, out of bounds at about the 37. Good return. Worshing knocked him out of bounds. Solomon's caught 3 passes for 80 yards. Clark has caught 5 for 104.
No, but if we look back, the thing that made that all possible, of course, was Ronnie Lott's interception, because that's how the 49ers got the ball near midfield.
And after the penalty, the 49ers struck quickly. First down, Giants at their own 37. 49ers leading 17-7. Certainly a position that Ray Perkins did not want to be in, as Joe Montana popped upstairs to the assistant coaches, Leon Bright and Leon Perry in the backfield. That's Leon Bright outside the 40, about the 42. A fumble. 49ers are saying they've got it, and they are indeed correct. About to blow it open. Keena Turner made the recovery.
I wonder why Rob Carpenter wasn't in there. You know, if you watch Leon Bright going off, he has rib injuries, and he has a flak jacket on. And sometimes that's hard to hold the ball as you're going in with a flak jacket.
Carpenter is standing over on the sidelines. Appears to be okay, but there must be some reason. 17-7, San Francisco. First down, 49ers at the Giant 42. They'll go for more quickly. Down the middle, complete. Charle Young taken down by Flowers. First down. Inside the 30 to about the 28. Or they strike in a hurry. Mike Wilson enters the contest along with Mike Schumann.
I think this is a very important series right here for the Giant defense, because if they allow another score here, that may be too much of an uphill battle for them.
It may be, as the rain continues a little bit. 4 wide receivers in the game this time, a formation we heard about yesterday. Montana looks left, throws right. Solomon taken down immediately.
I think there may have been more wide receivers than that, because Freddie Solomon and Dwight Clark were in the backfield. Freddie Solomon came out of the backfield to catch that ball from the halfback location.
They had Schumann, Wilson, Clark, Solomon, and Young all in the game at the same time.
And you never know where they're coming from. That's what Bill says. He says we want to kind of hide them so they can't plan what we're going to do.
Come at you with a lot of weapons. Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper now the setback. Handoff is to Patton. Patton to the outside. Steps out of the hands of Mark Haynes and scores. 49ers on the road. Five-yard touchdown run by Ricky Patton.
I think if we watch this again, it was like a tackle trap. We see the outside, number 61 there. Dan Audick pulled and made a nice block that sprung Ricky Patton to the outside. Audick came all the way from his left tackle position.
And Worshing adds the extra point. It's San Francisco 24. The Giants 7, and we still have 10 minutes and 24 seconds left to play in the first half of this playoff game. 49ers rolling. That's Ricky Patton, who's wearing the glasses. 5 rushes, 28 yards, 25 coming on that touchdown run he just made.